Welcome to June 13th, or my first full day as a 20-something. Ooh, so exciting, so adult, so grown. Um, Today was pretty lax. I had some lab work, some readings to do, and then we had a lab presentation. So bi-weekly we do presentations on updates for our work and what our project has done so far. And so I had mine today, which was exciting. I'm not a huge fan of public speaking, but when it's just 5 people that you know in a room, it's not as bad. So it wasn't super high pressure. It's just to get us comfortable talking about our research and other potential advancements in the literature regarding our particular topics and such. So it was pretty chill, very, informal, and I got through it, which is the good part. Sometimes it's intimidating to talk to someone who's been working on your model organism since they were in grad school, which is insane. I can't imagine working on the same organism for that long. But yeah, so that was good. And then yesterday was my birthday, so my boss took me to get ice cream, which was so sweet of her and so nice. We had a nice conversation, nice chat, nice little hang sesh. I haven't seen her since before the school year ended. She's not my boss for the summer, but for the school year, so that was really nice. I got to hang out with her. And yeah, just very relaxed day. I did cut my finger. It's really painful. It's the very tip of my pinky, so the Band-Aid is on in a super weird way. It's very stingy, which is sad, but yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk today a little bit about what it is that I want to do. Obviously I'm in research now, so I am getting hands-on experience, but that's not exactly what my push is for myself, so I thought I'd fill you guys in on exactly what I want to do and why I want to do it and how I got interested in it and all of that stuff. So I'll start with how I got interested and introduced to my particular profession, my grad school program, all of that stuff. So when I was in high school, I thought I wanted to be a vet for a very long time. And then I found out that being a vet means putting animals down a lot and only really seeing them when they're sick and having some huge triumphs, no doubt, but definitely some challenging days. And I love animals so much and I just don't really want to see them in pain. So I wanted to find a new outlet for my interests. So I'm very interested in biology. I've always been interested in biology since I was probably in the 6th grade, and I had this very enthusiastic, well-educated science teacher who taught biology and chemistry. I didn't care so much about his chemistry lectures, but his biology lectures, I was just blown away, and I really wanted to do that for the rest of my life. So when I was in high school, I was in honors biology as a freshman, and then when I was a senior, I took AP biology. So I was like, I want to do something in biology, but I don't want it to be vet school. What can I do? So I was thumbing through my textbook and like my old tests and quizzes to try and see what particular things interested me in biology. And this is not the way that everybody has to go about things, but this is the way I did. And happened upon the section in genetics and the test that we had taken on genetics that I had done like ridiculously well on, like so much better than any of my other tests that I was like, I did well in this. I wonder what that's all about. So I started like deep thumbing through this chapter and like links and finding all sorts of websites and all sorts of stuff and like realized like the whole world of genetics that it's out there and how deep it is and what a like groundbreaking field and stuff. So I sort of like fell down this rabbit hole where I was like, genetics. But of course, when you're 18, you don't exactly know what the world of genetics really means. So I talked to my science teacher, my AP bio teacher at the time, and I was like, what do these people do? Like, what does a geneticist do if they don't go into medicine or go and get their PhD. And she told me about the field of genetic counseling, which to me was like, oh my gosh, that strikes the perfect balance, because I don't just want to be in a lab for the rest of my life working on flies or working on cancer cells or whatever, I want to do work with people, but I don't necessarily want to go into medicine. So I was like, wow, this genetic counseling thing seems super, super cool, like helping people with deciding whether or not to have another child if a child has a genetic condition, deciding whether or not to continue with a certain plan of treatment because of their genes, whether or not they need to get a certain kind of operation, certain medications, all of that stuff falls under this field of genetic counseling, and contemplating deeper issues like the language that you use when referring to people on the gender spectrum who consider themselves non-binary or something. When you look at a pedigree chart, it's very clear, like, certain diseases are inherited in a certain way, so like biological sex matters, but you don't want to misgender someone. All that kind of stuff, the human aspects of genetics, all falls into this category of genetic counseling and taking a psychological look at people with the lens of genetics. And so I just got super interested in that and doing that kind of work. So when I was a freshman in college, I started taking intro bio courses, but I took intro bio that was microbio so that I would get genetics. And this particular class had a major genetic component because the professor, who is now my advisor and my lab professor, is a geneticist, and so it had a heavy genetics part of the course, and we talked about genetic counseling, and she often pushes it because it's an expanding field. So it was just super cool to hear her talk about it, and I really loved the section on genetics. And then I took more classes in bio to see is it really this that I want to do, or is it just bio? And I'm latching onto this thing because of this one test. And no, I keep coming back to genetics, and I took a genetics course last semester and it just blew my mind, and I was just super engaged in class, did not want to stop paying attention, did not want to stop learning outside of the classroom, did every reading maybe 3 times. That's how interesting I find that kind of stuff and that work, and tutoring kids who have trouble in genetics and all that kind of stuff. And it was just super, super interesting to me. And so I'm very excited about the field of genetic counseling. It is a program that the programs are very selective because, there's a huge amount of job opportunities, but not as many programs, and that's why there's huge demand, low supply. So the program is a 2-year master's program, a master's of genetic counseling, and there are plenty of programs all throughout the country, and I plan on applying to as many as I can my senior year, and hopefully getting into one of them and not having to take a gap year, and just learning even more about the human aspects and the counseling aspects, and taking more psych courses in my upcoming years in college, and just really diving into that field because it's just super interesting to me. And there's a whole wide range of activities that you can do as a genetic counselor, and places that you can work, and people that you can help. And I'm just really excited to take my passion, which is genetics, and turning it into something in the human world, the helpful world. And not that, of course, research isn't helpful. Obviously, research is helpful, but this is a more human to human interaction that I'm really excited about. And recently, I had a family member go to a genetic counselor and had a wonderful experience and learned a whole ton about their gene profile and what makes them them. And so they were really enthusiastic about the possibility of me doing it, and maybe them going for free the next time. But so that was just super encouraging. It's it's a real thing, people do this. And so I'm very excited about my future, and that's why I study genes now in fruit flies, so that I can one day help people with their own genes, with human genes. So that's why I chose my particular field, and that's why I'm doing summer research and continuing research in genetics, because I find it fascinating. Not for everyone, but for me. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!